Now, before we move on, I have to say I was wrong before. This version actually, in this version, the Twin Snakes, there's not just one floor down. I just wasn't paying attention before, but I watched it again, and I saw that there was about, I don't know, there's probably 6 floors down, so in this version it makes sense that it doesn't just jump down, but I do remember that in the original there's just 1 floor down, and that's why you go much further down too, because you go down to the 2nd floor and then the staircase is broken, but for some reason you can't just jump down. So actually, on that part this game is actually better, because they've actually fixed that and made it a bit more reasonable for him not to jump down. But anyway, now I'm just getting up these stairs, and as you can see, there are some camera turrets mounted on some of the walls. And in the original, you of course couldn't shoot them out, so then you had to use chaff grenades and run under them, or later you could shoot them with a stinger. But the first time you went up here, I think your only choice was to use chaff grenades. But now you can of course just shoot them out, which is much easier and more handy. No one there. And as you can see, it also increases in a number of turrets each time. There is some for every time. I mean, it starts with just 1, then there's 2, then there's 3, then there's 4, you know. It was like that in the original too, but here, I mean, in this version, those turrets kind of seem... It doesn't really seem like there's any real point in having them there, because you either gotta not be aware of the fact that you can shoot in first person, or you gotta be pretty bad in order to be hit, to get hit by them. I mean, if you're not aware that you can shoot in first person, or you're not aware that you actually can you can actually destroy them by shooting them, then maybe. But I mean, in the original, there was actually in the original it made sense to have them there, because it actually posed kind of a challenge, because you had to time when you threw a chaff grenade and when you ran and all that, and when to stop and not to stop. And I actually got hit a few times in the original, because I threw a chaff grenade, I ran, and I thought I would make another set of turrets, but I just didn't. So you got hit a few times and then had to stay up against the wall until they weren't focused on you anymore. But anyway, it's not a big deal again, but it's just... I'm not really sure that there was any point in having them in this game, because there's no challenge in them.
So, the snake's finally
but now you face off against Liquid in his hind B, because you have now picked up a stinger.
I'm you! I'm your shadow!
If you can fire against him.
What? Ask the father that you killed! I'll send you to hell to meet him!
That little scene there where he kind of introduces himself, or whatever you want to call it, where he just talks to him there. Liquid Snake is in this game, his acting is so over the top. I mean, it's not horrible, it's not really that bad, but it's just, yeah, he's overacting so much, it's ridiculous. And just considering the fact that there's so many bad voiceovers, there's so much bad acting and all in this game, at times I wonder if this is actually some sort of parody of the original, or if the director or whoever was in charge of the voiceovers in this version just was a complete retard. Because I mean, how, if this is meant to be taken seriously, can you have the exact same voice actors for the most part, apart from 1 or 2? How can you have them all do 10 times worse in this version as opposed to the original, if it's not meant to be almost a parody. And that's actually something I'm wondering about this game. Is it a parody? Is it supposed to be, or is it supposed to be a normal, you know, serious remake? Because there's definitely times where I just think, okay, this has to be a parody, because this is actually sort of funny, because it's so ridiculously stupid and ridiculously bad, but I can't be sure. I mean, I think, as far as I know, it's supposed to be a serious remake. It's supposed to be taken seriously as the original, but it's just so much bad voice acting, so much weird stuff going on, so much over-the-top scenes and all that sort of stuff that you really... I don't think it's ridiculous to think that this might be a parody, because it certainly feels like it at times. As I said, I'm fairly certain that this isn't actually a parody, but it's just done in such a horrible way that it almost feels like a parody. Or a mockery of the original. I'm gonna come back to that later, of course, because I don't want to get hung up on that now, since we have more to go through. So just try to try to take down this hind now. It's almost done, but once I've taken that down, we're going to get another scene with at least one little part that is fairly ridiculous in my mind. You're gonna see what I'm talking about, but I would just wait for him to deliver his final shot, which in this version yeah, I always fuck up there because I'm just used to that in the original you just hid behind those things that blew up there, and both those big shots.
Eat this!
But now, yeah, just watch this. Yeah. That's just ridiculous. I mean, it's one thing that he manages to dodge the missile, that's fine, but he actually jumps onto it, he somersaults onto it, and gains an extra jump from it, so he can jump really, really fucking high to shoot a stinger right at the helicopter. How the hell does that make sense? Again, it's way over the top, it's not really bad, it's kind of cool, I guess, but it's just... it's just embarrassingly stupid. And like I said, I've said it before and I'll say it again, this game really doesn't know how to convey the fact that Snake is a pretty cool character. In the original, you didn't need all these over-the-top, ridiculous scenes. Because as the story progressed, as the game progressed, you just knew Snake was really cool because he manages to avoid all these traps, he manages to take down a hind, he manages to do this and that. In this, though, they kind of force it on you. It's just like, okay, we have to do something to convey that Snake is really a cool character. We have to do over-the-top things to make you know that he's a cool character, because we apparently have no idea how to convey that he's cool otherwise. I mean, it's like, this game really tries really hard to convey that he's cool. In the original they didn't, but they managed to convey that he was cool. They managed to convey that he was cool anyway. I know. So, you don't have to tell me. Yeah. And stay out of my way. I just don't really know. Okay. Call me if you need what they were thinking in terms of that in this version.